Hi, everybody. It's Jessica Stone at Stansberry Research, and I've got Scott Garliss, the editor of the Stansberry Newswire, and an avid sports fan here on the line. And Scott, Germany's Bundesliga is back. La Liga is coming back next week, the Spanish league. But a lot of American sports are not yet back, and that has a tremendous economic impact. I think it's $12 billion as estimated by ESPN, and something like $92,000 a minute are said to be lost every time a sport is not played. How do you think the industry can recover?
People need to feel better about interacting with one another, and they need to feel better about sitting in close proximity, and that's going to take time, and that's going to take a vaccine, that's going to take a treatment, that's going to take more testing so that infected individuals can be isolated. And until we have that on more widespread basis, it's going to take time for sports to come back.
But we can watch them, right? So I see there a big distinction between leagues that have to have a big fan base in the stands versus those that can be televised. And we know that television makes some of these leagues a lot more money than ticket sales. So what's the probability of sort of a financial recovery sport to sport if they do have good television contracts versus rely on the fans?
I think that's going to help. What I wonder is with sports right now, if you're an inside team, say like an NBA or NHL, you're going to have much more difficulty because, right, one of the problems that they're worried about with COVID-19 is breathing the same air as other people, especially if you're sitting next to an asymptomatic person who's infected and they don't have an idea and you don't have an idea. So being inside is going to be harder. Some of the things they've talked about is sunlight can kill this within a couple of minutes. Being outside, there's a less chance of infection. So sports like baseball and football, they're going to be better off short term. Now, we're still probably going to see stadiums are going to be doing social distancing, so people will sit far apart. So maybe you'll have 25 to 30% of the stands full versus 100% before. That probably means ticket prices are going up.
And you wonder, too, these players have some very lucrative contracts, right? Could they bend a little to keep the sport going?
I think baseball is experiencing some of this right now where the owners want to share revenues with the players instead of meeting commitments on full contracts this year. And some of the players aren't very happy with that idea. I get it. The problem is if you lock out your season over something like that, with the number of people that have lost their jobs right now, I would think a lot of fans they're going to be pretty jaded to coming back to that sport.
Scott, given all of these different factors that are going into whether sports can make money, what are the investment opportunities? Is sports still a good bet when it comes to investing?
Yeah. I think there are a lot of great investment opportunities. And so one of the ways you always want to be thinking about investing is you want to buy things when they're hated and sell things when they're loved. And right now, a lot of the sports-related investments, they're going to be cheap because they're not seeing a lot of business. So what are some things we'd want to think about? Well, what's one of the first things you associate with going to a baseball or football game? You probably associate having a beer, right? Or at the least having a Coke or Pepsi.
Or a Coke or Pepsi, yeah. Or bottled water.
Yeah, well, 100%. So what you'd want to think about companies like Anheuser-Busch InBev, Budweiser, obviously is one of the beers they make. People are going to buy Budweisers when it goes back up. They've lost demand sitting out, but that's going to come back. Molson Coors, I've had a Coors or two in my lifetime, and on a warm day they can be refreshing. Also, like Pepsi and Coca-Cola, same thing. Families are going to go to games. Kids are going to want to have a Coke or Pepsi. What's away from that, like Aramark, they do a lot of the food services you see at these stadiums, like selling the hot dogs, pretzels. One of my favorites is chicken tenders and French fries. That's why I ride a lot of miles on my bike. And they also do the uniforms that a lot of the staff needs. So that's another company that they're going to benefit from this. And then we can look on the gaming side in terms of betting. Las Vegas Sands, MGM, they're going to see a bounce back in their sports books. And another, maybe a little more pure play on sports books or sports betting bouncing back is DraftKings. People do rotisserie leagues. They're going to start drafting players. They will bet on those things. And DraftKings is likely to see a bump. People need the distraction of sports. Without it, there's a lot of negativity that's being focused on right now in the media and people are dwelling on, and they need that unifying factor.
Yes, as I was saying to you earlier, remember that brief shining moment when all of Washington, D.C. was actually united regardless of politics when the Nationals won? And we didn't even get to we didn't even get to prance around and wave flags because of COVID-19 on the anniversary of that. So I might
Yep.
have even done that. Listen, thanks so much for your time, Scott Garliss there from the Stansberry Newswire. And if you would like to see more content like this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.